Okay, let's say you want to produce a recall system and you want to use Google Sheets to do it. So you want something that allows for you to, rather than read the question and read the answer, something chilled like that, you instead would like to have a question where the answer is hidden, then the answer is revealed at a later point, so you can test to what extent you were correct. And you want to, at the click of a button, move through your questions, such that you can move through them. So if your list is extraordinarily large, you can quickly flick through the ones that you're good at, or speed through the ones that you're not, or stop and do things of that nature, whatever you wish to do with them. I mean, you can go even further and you can have, for example, buttons that move questions that you didn't get correct into a separate list, and then you can go back over them. But for now, it's just about getting these questions and answers into a situation where you can click a button and the question is revealed, but the answer is not, and then you click another button to reveal the answer to see whether you're correct. Now, what's important is to realize that that is a much more powerful system than just having to read these things here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, get these questions, this section, in an index, and I'm going to link it to this value up here. This will be the controlling cell. So it's giving me the fourth one because it is the number 4. If I make it 1, it gives me the first question. What is simple random sampling? Question 1. Now, for the answer, of course, I'm going to have to call on an index as well, and I'm going to utilize B6 to B22. And if I pick a random cell, you will find that it gives me all the lists or the whole list, because there is no number in there. So if I want to actually put a number in there, like so 1, now it's matching them. However, this number can be said to be different because they're not linked per se, and so the question and answer might not be correct in terms of being perfectly linked as they would be done on your sheet. So of course you want to do is make sure that the controlling cell is the same, which I believe we can say was A4. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, no, I want my controlling cell to be A4, and therefore they match. So in this situation, there's already a bit of progress because it's more aesthetically pleasing. I have my questions here. However, the problem is that I have to flick through this to change my questions. So here, if I want the 6th question, I have to plug in 6. I mean, that's far, that's not good enough at all. So let's do a button. Let's produce a button. So I'm going to produce, let's just take a shape. Let's take a lovely little circle like this. Save and close. And now what I want is for this circle to be my button, such that when I press it, I move through my question. So let's see how we can do that. I'm going to go Tools, Script Editor. In my script editor, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to New Script File. Let's call it the button. So we have button, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called app, which I'm going to call spread, which is going to be involved in spreadsheet app. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now produce active sheet, which is going to come from app. I'm going to get the active spreadsheet. That's what I'm going to get. But just as a point, if I move back, you can see that the choices come from here. So here's my active spreadsheet there, and I can do that the same. I also need the active sheet itself. So let's do get active sheet, which should be in here as well. There you are. Now, then all I'm going to do is I'm going to produce another variable called, let's call it cell, which is going to be involved in active sheet. The cell is involved in active sheet, in particular with regards to getting a range. I believe it was the 4th column, or the 4th row of the 4th row of first column. And I also want to specifically get the value. I want the value within that. So now I have that. Let's just press this to see if any odd things occur. Ooh, it seems smooth. In these situations, if you press this, you might actually have to give yourself access or give others access, or something that allows for you to do these macros, and that's an easy process to do. It's smoothly, it's quite comfortable to go through. But anyway, what I have now is I have a variable app, and in terms of that variable app, I have a variable active sheet, and in terms of that variable active sheet, I have a variable cell, and cell is particularly something that is going to get a value from 4, 1. Okay, brilliant. So what do I want to do? Let's create an if statement. That means that cell is greater than 0. This is pretty much just saying if there's a value in it. If there is a value in it, then what I want you to do is I want you to get this situation where you're on the active sheet and you've looked at 4.1, and I want you to, instead of getting that value, I want you to set the value to something bigger. I want to cell +1 it. 1. So then it would move from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and so on and so forth. Let's just press play and see if it's happy with that. It seems happy with that, and you can see that my number seems to have gone up to 7. Let's assign it. Click the 3 bloody dots. So I've got the dots here, and I'm like, okay, so here's my dots. And I'm going to say, let's call it, I think I called it buttons. Let's do that. Beautiful button. Boom. Click that. Oh, no, there's a problem. Let's double check. Maybe that is because it is not button, it is my function. So this is the actual name I'm going to need to type in here. So I'm going to click the 3, I keep doing it, there you go. Click the 3 lovely dots this time, they're lovely dots. I'm going to click here, go to my function, and then the number went from 7 to 8, and from 8 to 9, and from 9 to 10, and this is causing this to move through here. Now I'm going to create another one, insert. Let's insert another button, so I'm going to go to drawing. I'm in the circle world now, so let's stay in that circular structure, although some of these things look interesting. But ooh, let's go 3D. Right, so here we are. I'm going to end up having to sketch something. Oh, what is happening here? There we go. There we go. So there you go. I've got this here. I'm going to put this, again, the aesthetics of this are questionable, of course, but this, for now, is more about how to do it. You can make this much better once you've got the basics, and please feel free to do so. So then in this situation, I want to be able to reset it. I'm not going to do anything elaborate. All I'm going to do here, just to speed things up and also to add an extra side to this, is I'm going to do a recording in which I click here, and I'm going to click 1. Actually, I'll cancel the recording because it'll just be the fact that I clicked 2 on there. So Tools, Macros, Record Macro. I'm going to click here. I'm going to put in the number 1. It will say set value, save, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, this I'm going to call reset. That's not resetty, but reset. And I mean, we can take a look at the macro if we want to, but generally speaking, I'm just going to assign reset here, and it should reset it. So now I can flick through my questions. You see me flicking through the questions, and I can reset if I wish. And if I want to look at that, I can go to Tools, Macros, manage my macros, find Reset, click these 3 little dots, and edit the script. And so you can see in this line here, Reset, we've gone into the spreadsheet, we've gone to the range A4, activate, and in that range, we've gone and put set value 1, and that's this line here, spreadsheet get range A5.activate. You can see perhaps it was just a click that I made in addition. So that's not something to notice per se. But generally speaking, you can see how this is very similar to the structure we did in terms of the setting the value to 1. And that's what's causing that reset. Now let's go back to button. The problem with button is that, yes, it makes it +1, but if you see here, when I have my questions, let's move across, when I have my questions, my answer is instantly there. So I'm like, what is the stratified random something? Oh, it's just there. There's not an advantage there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Tools, Macros, Record, and this time I'm going to click here, this will be this range, and I'm going to go to make sure that the coloring is such that it's hidden. So just make it black. There you go, done. Nice and simple. Set it there, click Save, and we'll call it, let's just call it what it is. Black. Okay, right, so save macro. Now, notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to manage it. I'm going to find, I think it might be black 1 because perhaps I had black before, and it is automatically going to do something like that, add a 1 to it if it's additional. So at the bottom here, yes, it was black 1. I'm going to take this, right, I'm going to copy it, go to the button, and place it under here. Place it under here like that. And you can see what it's doing. In terms of the sheet, it's going to go to I5 and it's going to activate. And then from there, it is going to set the background as black. So now this should all manifest itself within one button, that lovely circle that we had at the beginning. So that is to say, if I reset, I'm on question 1. That reset will have me the screen movement as a result of actually clicking over there, but I can remove that by other means at a later date. Now, in this situation, now when I click it, the answer is not there. The answer is not there. The answer is not there. So finally, all we need is an answer is something to reveal it. So let's do this again. And then we're nearly there. Let's draw. I'm going to pick another shape. What do we have? Let's do something circular again. Ooh, this one looks more interesting. Let's do that. Save and close. Hopefully you're starting to see the pattern as to how this can be built. Then I'm going to need to reveal the answer, so assign macro. Now, in this situation to reveal, again, in fact I might just do this one more time, tools, macros, record, and I'm going to click it, and I'm going to, this time, reveal, save, and we'll call this white, capital W. And then all I have to do is, I don't even need to look at it per se, I literally can just assign white, capital W, and now let's restart. So let's just move things across a little bit so you can, I could hide these or anything of that nature, but I'm just going to be lazy and just drag this across like so. Okay, so here you have our system, a basic structure, and now that we have the basics, we can move on from here for more and in more detail at another time. But generally speaking, I've got reset, which brings me to the first question. Now, you can see that there is another issue in that when I click reset, there is definitely the capacity to see the first answer. So let's clean that up. That is to say, I want to go to script editor. I know that in my script editor, there was a macros that was called black1. I can take that, copy, and I can put it in reset. So if I put it here in reset, now when I reset it, it will also make that cell black. And I can therefore move on, and hopefully when I reset it, no, it seems to be, oh, this is awkward. Hold up, let me see if we can sort this one out again. Script edit. Yes, please. Okay, what have I got here? Was it reset that was the answer? Let's just make sure that it was reset that was in here. So at okay, right. So here I've got reset, but in this reset it does not have black. So let's try one more time. So let's take this, and I'm going to put it in here. Bear with me one moment. Now, hopefully, when I do reset, there we are, and there we have it. Now it is black. Okay, so when we have a reset, it is black. So that's first question. Click the button. Second question, reveal answer. Third question, reveal answer. Fourth question, reveal answer. So for example, you can see I could say, what is systematic sampling? I would try and recall the answer first. That is what makes the system more powerful than reading notes. And then from there, it will tell me sampling every nth term, for example. Then we have, what is the probability equal to in the histogram? Well, the answer is, the probability is the frequency divided by the sum of the frequencies. And you can see, well, that's probability generally anyway, but what is the relative frequency density equal to? Relative frequency density is equal to, it's probability divided by class width. So this is an example of a student of mine that has produced these questions, and the effort here is quite nice. This individual was able to do this himself. I stripped it down and then began building up the same thing, and I've used their Google Sheet, so they're probably going to come to this Google Sheet and say, what is going on with these circles? But I await the joy of that conversation. But anyway, you can see now the capacity to produce a basic structure of recall, and this can be furthered in many ways going forward. Thank you very much for your time.